Hello, welcome to Am's Life and Finance, with the channel where we talk about anything and everything, or at least so I think. I don't think I have enough videos to really make that into a proper statement, but we're getting there. And today we have kind of an introspective video about something that happened to me last Sunday. So I have my tea right here. Let me just take a sip. Yeah, some matcha tea, really good for your health. And yeah, this is today an introspective video from my Sunday. So I was at home. I was supposed to go out with my girlfriend. We don't live together yet. Girl! Yeah, so I was supposed to go out and she was a bit sick and yeah, we just didn't go. So I stayed home. I didn't really want to go for a motorcycle ride because Sundays are a bit chaotic. That's when all the old people gather with their best cars, at least in my country. That's what they do. Like they get their Mercedes and their BMWs, Audis, etc. into the streets, and they just make a mess because they don't really drive that well. So I usually don't drive on Sundays, plus I think there's a bit more police there, so I just don't go for motorcycle rides at all on Sundays. Plus I had one the day before, which was really quite alright. My tires were a bit deflated and I had to stop like mid-ride to fill them up, so that was not a nice experience. I drove with a flat tire once, my motorcycle, and I was screaming the entire time. It's really not nice. But that's beyond the point. So she didn't go out with me. Also, my sister was at work, so I couldn't really bug her. She's a nurse, so she works Sundays from time to time. Or it seems like all the time, really. I don't know. I feel like we treat the special jobs that we have in our economies like really poorly. Nurses is one of them. But yeah, basically I stayed home. I was not really into working on my side projects. I was not really feeling it. I wanted to rest a little bit. I also didn't want to work out because I had that in the morning. I went for a long walk. The place I usually walk in was abnormally filled up, so it was kind of strange, but probably because it's like the first bit of sun we're getting. The past 2 months have been chaotic in terms of rain and storms. I have already talked about that a little bit in previous videos, but yeah, so I didn't really want to do many things already. I watched a game of football. There was Arsenal versus Chelsea. It was a nice game, especially towards the end. And after that, yeah, I thought I would play some video games. I loaded up Call of Duty. I wasn't really feeling it. It was kind of I mean, but I get that with Call of Duty. I just generally just play like 1 or 2 games and get on with my life. I think the game, because of the menus and all that and the launcher, takes more time to load up than the time I spend on it, which is kind of strange. In the meantime, I've started playing EAFC again. I don't know. I feel like EAFC rots my brain a bit too much. I don't play online because I would just rage quit the entire time. So yeah, I'm a bit worried it kind of melts my brain. But you know, if you watch the Premier League, I started with Tottenham Hotspur because they're in absolute shambles. I mean, who would have thought they would be fighting for relegation again? That's just incredible. And yeah, so I was already refusing many of the options that I had available for myself as a form of entertainment. Some of them were not really entertainment, if you really want to call it that way, but yeah, I was reaching that point where I just wasn't feeling it at all for anything in general. So I think I've reached a state of boredom, and it's kind of strange because I didn't know what to do. But I guess if you're bored, that's kind of the point. You're just bored. You know, you don't know what to do next. It was very strange. So yeah, I just didn't know what to do. I stood at the screen of the computer for an obnoxiously long time without anything. Eventually, I just went outside and pet my dog a little bit, and yeah, that was about it. After that, I was just yeah, stuck at the computer. I mean, eventually, I loaded up some YouTube videos and got entertained through that, but it really got me thinking, what the hell? I mean, is it that difficult to stay bored, you know, just without doing anything, complete idle? Then I thought, well, I also wasn't reaching for my phone to like get that quick dopamine hit on reels and all that. So that was good, I guess, because that means my brain wasn't really wanting to check anything like that to, you know, counteract the boredom. I guess that's nice. That's a nice plus. But at the same time, like, it was really strange. Eventually, I just had dinner and called it a day. Just went to bed like 8:30. Okay, probably not 8:30 because I always read before sleeping. That's something I'm trying to include in my daily life, or wind down routine, if you want to call it. I used to watch TV, especially YouTube at night. I've tried to tone that down a little bit for books instead, to like slow down, you know. I feel that's been beneficial. Like I'm sleeping way better now, so that's a good sign. But yeah, then when I went out with my girlfriend the next day, I just talked to her and I was like, damn, yesterday I was bored to bits. I don't know what happened. She was like, you never get bored? I get that all the time. I was like, what? I don't know. Yeah, it was really strange because like she had the entire opposite of, yeah. I really had, yeah, that was even stranger. So the part of being bored was a strange feeling, like, oh, new emotion, boredom. But then when she tells me like, you never get bored, like, this is absolutely normal, I was like, yeah, that's not, this is strange. This is very strange. Then it got me thinking, what happens when people get bored? Do they just go, you know, on Rainbet and start gambling? Do they watch porn? Do they watch reels, stuff like that? Do they really go into these kind of bad things? I'm not saying reels are bad in general. I mean, if you do them like unintentionally with your brain just on power down mode, yeah, that becomes a bit bad. But in other circumstances, really, usually all right. I mean, yeah, and really got me thinking what happens when we get bored. And then what are the consequences of people like me not being able to be just bored? I feel like this just doesn't happen to me. I feel like it's a societal thing in general that since we have phones now and all these forms of entertainment, we just forget how to be bored. And yeah, I feel like a lot more people deal with this too. And then what are the consequences? Do we really get pushed like to bad vices and things like that, like the ones I just mentioned before? Or, you know, do we get like a feeling of emptiness? Which was kind of where I was at, I guess, in a way. And yeah, what happens? It's really strange. Like maybe that's the consequence of being, maybe us not being able to be bored because of all this stimulation and all that is what we see today, where people feel a bit lacking meaning, lacking purpose. Yeah, and I looked at myself within. What would make me not feel bored in other days? And it was just the feeling of productivity. I like to work. I usually work on my side projects when I'm outside of work. I think about them all the time. Yeah, and I work on them a lot. Like for me, it's normal to wake up at 5 to do 1 hour of that before jumping into work and then coming back to the gym to do 3 more hours of that. I mean, I've been trying to tone that down a little bit because I feel it's a bit too much. Because even on weekends, I would just work. And now I'm trying to make myself do like these activities. For example, riding motorcycles on Saturdays, some of the days of the week. Yeah, if I go out with my girlfriend or even on weekends when that happens, yeah, just not work, of course. But in other days, I also try to include a bit, maybe some video games on the time that I would work to, you know, decompress a bit. And my computer decided to go haywire. So I think it's time to evacuate the office. But yeah, that's also about what I had. The whole what happens if we get bored kind of thing. And now I'm at the garage and I'm looking at something that it's been bugging my mind a lot. Like, because of all the winter, my 2 motorcycles, okay, one of them is my dad's, they're both out of battery and they have like these very screws, you know, like strange screws that you have to like push from both sides, and it's been a mess to work with. Now I'm looking at it. I've tried multiple things already and couldn't do it, but I guess that's it for this video. Let me know what you think. Let me know if you are also not used to feeling bored anymore, if you haven't reached that stage in a long time, if you're trying to do it intentionally. What do you do when that happens? How do you deal with that? Let's have a nice discussion in the comments. And that's about it for today, guys. See ya!